He teaches presentation skills. His keynotes have been described as a combination of your best teacher and maybe your favorite comedian. Michael has served successfully clients in Europe, Africa, North and South America, Latin America, the Middle East, the Caribbean, and 49 of the 50 states. I forgot to ask what state he has avoided. He is the author of Work Hacks and Dear Michael Angelo, a father's life letters to his son. He's also had a highly rated speaking coach class titled Present Like a Pro. Now that's Michael the Rotarian, and that's Michael the professional. We always like to look at something about the person maybe that we can relate to, or, oh my gosh. So Michael enjoys exercise every day. He likes movies. In fact, he has attended the Academy Awards. He likes nonfiction books. He does not like ketchup. And he travels and enjoys his travel a lot. He's a million-miler. So would you please give a warm and energetic Rotarian welcome to our speaker this morning, Michael Angelo Caruso.
Whoa, look out! Thank you. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. It's great to be back at Mid-South Pets. I have so many friends here. It's like a homecoming for me, and I really enjoy it. But the best feeling of all is the pleasure and honor I have of speaking to presidents-elect. So I want to do a quick little roll call, because this is such a magical time for you. We got a lot of movement right now, a lot of motion. We've got change is afoot, ladies and gentlemen. If you are from District 6710, let's hear you. District 6740. 6760 in the house. 6780. Where's District 6860? And finally 6880. Yeah, man. All the energy. I love it. Movement and motion. The motion of the ocean, man. Movement is what makes things happen. And there's a lot of people moving around in Rotary at this time of the year. It's super exciting. Anytime the ocean's involved with anything, we're talking about something called Flotsam and jetsam. Do we have any boaters in the audience? Yeah, flotsam and jetsam. Do you know the difference between flotsam and jetsam? Most people do not. But as president-elect, you might want to think about this, because jetsam is the stuff that you would throw off the boat if you're in trouble. And flotsam is the stuff that stays on the boat or even comes onto the boat if you're in trouble. And you're going to see both during your president year. On the boat that may be in trouble. I don't know. I hope you're healthy. But your job is to keep the club healthy. So let's talk about jetsam and flotsam. For example, you notice the lectern's way over there today. Now, everybody's got their own speaking style. I teach presentation skills. I would tell you this, that you not only have nonverbal signals that you send the audience, but you have verbal signals, but you have nonverbal signals, right? And when you're behind a podium, and I'm guessing most of you, this is, by the way, a lectern, the podium is the shorter one. When you're behind the lectern, you're hiding a lot of your vocabulary. So if you can get away from that guy, do lecterns have gender? That was not in my script initially. And then flotsam is the stuff that that stays with you, that maybe you could get rid of if you wanted to. How about this? How about PowerPoint? For those of you that use PowerPoint for your presentations, the issue with PowerPoint, of course, is that you have to avoid eye contact with the audience, because you've got to be looking at your confidence monitor, which is down here, or you're looking back at the screen, because that's how you monitor your own notes, right? I tell salespeople, I don't understand why you would fly halfway across the country to get personal time with a client or a prospect and turn off the lights and say, please look at the screen for an hour. I don't understand that. Because people want to know that you're paying attention to them. This is a very unusual room. I had a very similar room in the Lone Star Pets in Texas and Great Lakes last year. It's a very long throw. And this is another little trick for you. Now, it's exaggerated today, but for those of you that are about to do 50 more speeches than you did last year, plus 12 board meetings, there's a certain way to address an audience. You know, it's called the V. So I could V this way and get to everybody. I could V half the room here. I could V the middle of the room, right? And I get to almost everybody. But what most speakers do in a room this size is we tend to play, because we like, you know, we're pleasers. Speakers are pleasers. So we'll go to the edges of the room and we keep doing this. Watch the screen. And I'm playing to the room, right? And it looks like a tennis match. You see? But if I have a really salient point I want to make, and I have a lot of videos on YouTube, I learned this the hard way because I got a lot of videos of me doing this on YouTube. If I want to make a salient point, I look right into your eye. And that's what you need to do when you're speaking to your people. You don't want to look at your notes. You want to look in your members' eyes because you're asking them to do things. You're asking them to spend time, give money, sell tickets. And when you look in their eyes, it'll mean something to them. So try to do that. When I was in school, back to change again, when I was in school, our teacher told us one day, she said, we're going to see more change in your lifetime. I was in like 7th grade, 6th grade. More change in your lifetime than in the last 500 years. And it hasn't stopped. I mean, it's just accelerating the change. Just think about technology. You know, there's a thing in technology. It's probably the best way to not get hacked online. And we didn't do it naturally. We're being tricked and euchred into it by the technology companies. The best way to not get hacked is something called multi-factor authentication. Does anybody know about this, MFA? Yeah, a lot of you do it. Easy examples of MFA are CAPTCHA. You know that little thing where it says type in the word that you see, and then you try to type it, and then you swear. Then you try to type it again, you swear again. You know it now, yeah. And Netflix now is doing multi-factor authentication, MFA, because apparently most humans are sharing their Netflix codes with 7 generations of their family. Not Rotarians. Rotarians are better than most people. We only share it with 3 generations of our family. MFA is interesting, and 3MFA is even more interesting because it's about communication. You know, I would send you a message, and then you would say, I received your message. And then I would send you another message back that said, I received the message that said you received my message. This is called over-communication. And over-communication is a far better thing than under-communication. And you'll realize this when you try to do your next event and nobody shows up, and you say, I don't understand. I sent an email. And what do? Sometimes we send the same email a second time. The same subject line that didn't work the first time, send it again. And later complain. I sent a couple emails on this. I don't know why nobody's here. There's a lot of psychology and strategy to leadership. And in MFA or 3MFA, and by the way, authentication is a key word because when I teach presentation skills, I always tell people you want to be better in front of the room, more effective in front of the room, whatever effective means, right? Some of us are trying to get people to change behavior. Sometimes you want people to buy stuff. Sometimes you just want them to do stuff, right? But you never give a presentation without a call to action. And the more specific the call to action, the more likely the person will actually do it, right? So think about this multi-factor authentication as a form of believability. Because when a person is authentic, they're believable, right? And the problem most people have in front of the room, you're going to have this the first week in June, is you're not going to be yourself because your central nervous system will be under siege. Because we're not ourselves in the front of the room. And when you're not yourself, you're not authentic. When you're not authentic, you're not believable, and now you have a problem. So you want to try to beat that curve the best you can. And there are plenty of strategies for this. We're going to show you some tips. In fact, let's show the first slide now, Greg, if you would. I have some freebies for you today. We're sharing Rotary marketing strategies in this terrific Facebook group. Now, if you join this group, you have to make me a promise that you're not going to post what you're having for lunch at your next Rotary meeting. because we don't care in this group. This group is people from all over the world sharing ideas about how you can create massive events, massive fundraising for your club. And that's what we help you with, right? So feel free to scan it and join it. If you don't want to do the QR code, just get the Word Out Now group on Facebook. When we do 3MFA, we talk about, the tech people say that there's 3 ways to think of this. It's multi-factor authentication. You do it 3 ways. It's something you know, something you have, and something you are. Think like you are trying to watch maybe you're watching Mission Impossible and somebody's trying to break into a vault. So there's a retinal scan, there's a password, which is something you know, and then there's these 3 ways that you can check. And I thought that this is pretty cool for Rotary too, because that's how you know if somebody's going to stick around in your club. Because, we ask some people to join, they don't stay. They become jetsam. Right? We don't know they're jetsam when they sign up, or we would just tell them, you're jetsam. We can't have you. But you don't know till like 6 or 8 or 12 months later, 16 months later, and they leave the club. By the way, they left the club 4 months before you thought they did, because nobody ever tells you they're leaving. You just find out on your aged receivables report, which you're going to go over 12 times next year. And the first 3 months of those 12 months, you're going to say, oh, he's still around, he'll probably come. And you won't check. 4 months, 5 months. And then you won't even be able to collect the money because you sat on it too long. So you got to over-communicate with people who may be unhappy with your situation. So you want to over-communicate with everybody in your club. I think that's important. So let's do know, have, and are from a Rotary perspective. So we've got you covered on what you know, because that's why we bring presidents-elect to pets. Now, there are some presidents that didn't attend this year. And that surprises me, because there is no way you can be a successful president if you don't attend the single most important training session that we offer. I'm super glad that you have 20 PNs coming. Linda, you said for the first time ever. Is it because it's the highest number ever? Yeah? Okay. So maybe next year 30 or 40, because we got to get people in the slipstream here so that they can be successful. So PETS has got you covered. And if you didn't attend PETS, or you thought this was a less than, everything you need is on this terrific Rotary website, especially the My Rotary. And I talked to a president not long ago who told me he got through his whole year without ever once logging into the Rotary website. He was bragging, and I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. He was my president. So I could talk to him like that. I was serious, man. You could do a good job. You're never going to log into the Rotary website. There's so many good tools there. So that's something you know. How about something you have? We know that when we're trying to recognize people that are coming into Rotary, we know that they have something that we want. But sometimes it takes a little while to identify it. In some cases, people are joining because we know they're well-heeled, they're well-to-do, they have money, they'll be able to contribute the foundation or write some checks. They're called check-writing Rotarians, right? And we love those people. Some people are maybe retired, or they have lots of time, and so they have time to give us. And some people have a skill set that they can give. Many of us join. We have a thing called numeracy, right? We're good with numbers. And then we're quickly recruited to be the treasurer of the club. So that's good. That's a good fit. And that's something that you have. Finally, we're looking for something that you are. And we know you have this because you're president-elect of your club now. You are 3 things. You are coachable, you are resourceful, and you are decisive. I have a new mantra. I love it. 4 words. Think slow, act fast. I was captured by this. I love it. Think slow, act fast. Because if you're going to make changes, you don't want to do it impulsively. You want to think it through, have a strategy, have a fallback plan, and then pull the trigger. It's interesting to me that if you're president of your club, you're not only capable of changing your club, you're obligated to change your club. That's why we asked you to do this. And we heard a lot of the great leaders talking last night about this, and it's super important that you understand that you have the ability to make some changes. You've been waiting all these years to make changes. Oh, I wish we could do this. Our club should do this. Now is your time, man. So many great Rotary leaders here, and many of them are heroes of mine. John Germ did me a solid early in my speaking career. I'll never forget it. We were reflecting on it last night. John likes to say he discovered me. which is partly true. Mark Maloney's here, another great Rotary hero. Mark likes to say he discovered me. Stephanie's here. I served Stephanie. I'm just kidding about the discovered me part. Stephanie, I served as Rotary Public Image Chair when you were zone director, right? And that's the interesting thing about Rotary. You're here as president-elect, and you've got really clear vistage now of your rearview mirror, right? You know exactly what's happened to you, but you don't know where you're going to be in 3 years or 5 years. And that's the interesting thing about Rotary. You see these people in different places, in different situations, different circumstances. We were joking last night that when you meet somebody, you say, well, I just met him. And if you know that person for a year, you could say, I've known him for a year. 2 years? 2 years. If you've been in Rotary long enough, you have friends for 20 and 30 years. They're like lifetime friends now. Nobody knew this was going to happen. It's an amazing organization. And you now are the matchmaker for your club. You're bringing people into the club. You're inspiring the membership team to do the best they can to bring people into the club. It's fabulous. I want to tell you two quick stories about this know, have, and are. As we try to identify people, we need to be able to see these three qualities, resourceful, decisive, and coachable in other people. And when I was younger, way before Rotary, way before Rotary was even on my radar, I was looking to do something in the community, and I was feeling paternal, you know. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I was aging. Some of my friends were having children and stuff, and I thought, well, I'm going to look into this thing called Big Brothers. It was Big Brothers at the time, not even Big Brothers Big Sisters. Anybody been part of that organization? Few? Yeah, okay. And, you know, they have a very serious matchmaking endeavor to get a good fit for what they call your little brother, little sister. And an interview process, I had to pass a police check, all of us do. And they asked the little one time, the matchmaker told me that she said, we asked him if he would prefer a smoker or a non-smoker. Which I thought was cute. And then I said, by the way, my little brother, I prefer to be a non-smoker. And Anthony Valentine, that's his name, was 12 years old, non-smoker. Anthony Valentine's a great name, would you agree? It's like what we call a soap opera name. So if you, some of you know this, if you take your middle name, everybody say your middle name just quietly, middle name, yeah, and then you take the street that you live on, the name of the street that you live on, that becomes your last name. So what's your soap opera name? Wellington Clubview. So Thurston Howell III. What's your soap opera name? Taylor Fairway Drive. Let your imagination work with that one. Mine would be, let's see, Angelo's my middle name, so Angelo Tremont, or as they say in France, Tremont. So the Big Brother thing was interesting to me because I didn't think I was making a mark with Anthony. I didn't think I was impressing him much. Even in the first visit, you know, he didn't say much. He was all tight-lipped. And I met his mom. That was an interesting experience. And I took him out to do something, got him something to eat. You know, I'm trying to, you know, ingratiate myself a little bit. And I was completely flat. I thought, I am no good at this at all, man. This is a complete and epic failure. And now I'm committed to this program. This is going to be a slow-motion torture. And Anthony before he gets out of the car, I pulled out, back in the day, I had a Franklin planner. Don't laugh, you all did. Remember those big books, right? But it was a big black book, because that's all he saw. And I'm looking up when we can meet again, because we've got to have a schedule to meet. It was really important to the program that you have a regular schedule. So I'm checking my schedule, and he's watching me, and I say, how about, you know, Thursday at 6 o'clock or whatever? And he says, okay, he's like, that should work for me. Like he's got anything else going. And I picked him up the next Thursday at 6 o'clock, and he's coming out of the house, and he's got something in his hand, but I can't see it because it's on the other side of his body. He gets in the car, and he sits down next to me, and he's got a little black date book. And he's watching me the whole time, and I didn't know it. And that's what it's like being club president. They're watching you, even if you don't think they are. They're listening, even if you don't think they are. And never, ever give up on this. And it helps to have some communication tricks, but they're watching. Second story. Not long ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago now, there was a flood in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You remember this? And it was interesting because Baton Rouge is not in the floodplain. And my brother lives in Baton Rouge. We were tracking the storm, a little worried about him. And then one day I get a phone call from Rob, and he's not himself. I can tell right away. He says, we got flooded. And I said, how bad is it? He says, well, we got 6 inches of water on the main floor of the house. I don't know if you've ever been a victim of a flood, but it is not pretty. Everything that gets wet has to be thrown out. And if everything's on the floor, everything on the floor has to be thrown out. And I said, I'm going to catch the first plane. I'm going to come down and help you. Now, I have never been a first responder at an event like this. Have anybody else been a first responder at a disaster? Raise your hand. Yeah, it's about the percentage I normally see when I ask the question. Not most of you. Flew down. I'm at the airport, getting ready to go to my brother's. I can't get a car, can't rent a car. There are none available. I called, this is a beginning of ride sharing, Uber, Lyft. I'm having trouble getting a car. Finally, a car shows up, but it's an F-150 Ford pickup. I'd never been Ubered in an F-150 before. But it turns out we needed this to get through the flood roads because all the roads were out. I mean, we took like this zigzag thing to get to them. When we rolled into Rob's neighborhood, and we had smelled it for a while, the smell, the stench in the air from water that's been sitting in 98-degree heat for a few days will turn your stomach. And as we rolled into his neighborhood, I noticed everybody had furniture out by the curb. It was like everybody was having a yard sale on the same day. And when we pulled up to Rob's house, I recognized furniture from my brother's living room at the curb. Even today, it just... Rob did not answer the door. He was out back. I didn't know it, but he was out back. I let myself in, and I'm just... by then the water had subsided, but I'm sloshing around in the carpeting, right? And he didn't even say hello to me when he walked in. He just fell into my arms crying. My brother, my youngest brother. I'm the eldest. And I said, it'll be okay. We're going to get you cleaned up. We're going to get you back. I remember when Ray Nagin was the mayor of NOLA during Katrina, and Ray had that famous statement. He said, we're going to make New Orleans just as good as it used to be. And I remember thinking, why not make it better than it used to be? Because New Orleans could use a makeover, you know? And I would think that about Rotary sometimes. You know, I think if you're going to become president of your club, it's you don't want to just tread water. You don't want to just hang out. You want to make it better, make the club better. Make it so that people will remember you in 5 years for something good. That was the year so-and-so did this. Wouldn't that be great? It's called the legacy goal. So I said to my brother, we're going to get you better than you were before. We're going to work this out. I said to him, I know you have a crew coming to do the demo. It's called the demo when they gut the house. And you know, they take a saber saw and they cut all the drywall down 24, I think it's 24 inches. Anybody know? Above the ground. Yeah, whatever. Okay. And, you know, if you do this right, you can go to the far end of the house and you go down like this, you can see all the way through the house. It is the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. And you take flat pan shovels and you go through in the walls and you scoop out all that wet insulation, the muck, the smell. We had masks on. This was way before COVID. We had a generator. We had fans blowing across, but it was just blowing hot air. It was miserable, back-breaking work. But I knew he had a crew coming to do this, and I kind of Googled it and what I was in for, YouTubed it. And this demo, I asked him about the crew. I said, well, who is it? Who's coming? He says, I think it's a service organization that's coming out. And I brightened right away. I mean, even my posture changed. I'm like, it's probably Rotary. I was super excited to meet some Rotarians as part of the adventure. And I said, when are they going to be here? He said, about 30 minutes. I said, great, I can't wait to meet them. And so I'm all convinced Rotary's coming. And I go out to the driveway, and finally they come in. They get off the truck. They got all this gear. They do one house a day for like 3 weeks. These guys work like dogs. All men. Dirty, dirty work. And I was so proud to see these guys roll up. And I said, my name's Michael. I'm Rob's brother. Who you with? And they went, Kiwanis. And I thought to myself, how cool that there's other organizations doing what we do. Isn't this the best? And later I found out that Rotary actually donated money to my brother's neighborhood, one of the toughest neighborhoods hit. So we all work together. We're all doing the same thing. But the trick is to get everybody to row at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. Just like managing your club. If you spread out too far, you can't get big stuff done. Let's show them another slide, Greg, please. So this is, I mentioned the YouTube channel earlier. This is a chance to see 2-minute videos with these types of tips. They're leadership tips, they're persuasion tips, plenty of Rotary content. And I've got great feedback from all of you, not all of you, but most of you that I've talked to this weekend who say you really appreciate it. 2 minutes is just about right to get a tip, and then you're on with your day. Again, feel free to join up, and if you don't want to do the QR, it's just Michael Angelo Caruso on YouTube. I want to do another freebie, if you don't mind, Linda. I want to give away some books today, and we're going to do this through business cards. We'll collect them very quickly, but I want to show you what we're going to give away. I'll do 3 sets of these today. This is called Work Hacks. If you're going to be president of your club, it's going to take some time. I know some of you are thinking you're going to be able to phone it in. And you can't phone in the presidency and do a good job. You have to spend time on it. And quality relationships take time. And I'll show you a technique for that in just a second. Work Hacks has these boss-approved time management presentation tips that'll make, you can use them at work and as president of the club. It's a terrific little book. And also, this is called Little Ideas with Big Results. And this has aphorisms in it like, do you believe what people say or what they do? What's the answer? What they do every time. And that's an interesting thing in service because people tend to overcommit. And they tell you they're going to do something. Their heart's in the right place, but they overcommitted. And then you find out they can't do it, and then you're disappointed. So just know at the baseline, people are going to tell you they're going to do stuff, but you need to check on them and encourage them and give them what we call internal deadlines. Promise me? Otherwise you'll be disappointed. So I want you to do that. We're going to give away 3 sets of these, and maybe we could get some help from the back corner of the room. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And in this corner, can someone raise their hand? In the back corner? Anybody? Yeah, thank you. You, sir, with a beard, thank you. How about the front corner here? Anybody can help? Anybody? Thank you, sir. And on this corner? And what we want you to do, thank you very much. We'll sweep across the room, pick up the cards. We'll do the drawing in just a minute. I want to give you 3 things that will rock your presidency. Just 3 things. And you're going to love these. They make your club irresistible, right? Here we go. Simply irresistible. I can't tell you, this is, it comes from, I think, the Robert Palmer song. And I loved Imagine, but that song is so slow. I mean, I'm exhausted by the time I'm done singing it. Simply irresistible, punch you in the gut, right? This song, come get you. Okay, so the first thing you want to do as Rotary Club president is you got to get your comms straight. You got to find one channel of communication that's going to really connect with people. You got to make it worth their while. Now, some of you would say, what's my Facebook group? But that has issues. Not everybody's on Facebook. Some of you would say email. That has issues. Not everybody reads their email or responds to it. One good tip for getting your comms right is to put the letters RC for Rotary Club in the first name field on your iPhone of all your club members. Let me explain. It's what's called in the business an identifier, right? So if you search, if RC is in the first name field, so if my name's Michael Caruso, which it is, RC Michael is in the field, right? Of every club member, RC. Now what would you search in your phone to find all your club members in a snap? RC. Isn't that pretty cool? Now you have to take the time to enter the club members. I first did this when I was governor. I did it with 50 club presidents. And I never had trouble finding my peeps. Because you'll think, what's his number? Or where can I get him? Or darn it, he's not in my phone, right? I need to call him. So that's a very good way to establish stronger communication. Number 2 is goals with numbers, right? If it's measurable, then you can celebrate success at the end of the year. So numbers. How many more members? How much more giving? How much more fun? What's the problem with fun? It's hard to measure, right? But if you have goals with numbers, I think that it'll be really beneficial to you. Number 3, the last thing, is persuasion. I think you should get better at persuasion. Now, this is a psychology thing, a psychology lesson. You need to get good at opening conversations, closing conversations, and what happens in between. Let's talk about a good open. As president, you have what's called podium power. Lectern, but we call it podium power. And you have the ability to, you have like this influence, and you don't recognize it because if you've been in your club for 6 years, you don't just wake up on July 1st and you go, I have influence. You know, that's not how it works. And if you think that's how it works, just announce it to your club. I'm president now. You have to listen to me. See how that goes over. So my point is that when you slip into this leadership role, the way that it's like you slip on a glove, you become that person, right? But you have to play the role a little bit. And so you can get good at what's called in sales, the 10-word close. I do a lot of, because I teach presentation skills, I'm in front of a lot of salespeople. How many salespeople in the room, sales for a living? Yeah. And everybody's in persuasion, I think. So in sales, the 10-word close can be different for different people. It's situational. But let's talk about an example of a 4-word close, F-O-U-R, word close in Rotary. I knew a guy once, and his 4-word close was, he was talking to you. Now there's always a preamble, there's always rapport, building a relationship, that kind of a thing. But the 4-word close was, do you like children? Because if you said yes, you are a candidate for Rotary. Something you know, something you are, right? And if you said no, he raised his voice and asked again, you don't like children? People, who doesn't like children, you know? So it was a fantastic way as a qualifier to move them closer to the top of what we call in the business the sales funnel. Your job as president is to broom as many prospects to the top of that funnel as you can, so the membership committee can swoop in on them and help them into the funnel. It's a system. If you don't have a system, you're not going to be able to do it. You'll have these onesie, twosie ads, and that's it. Okay. How do you, what about the, oh, and I skipped the open. Let's do the open. How many of you ring a bell in your club? A lot of you, okay. So when you ring the bell, I'm going to show you a quick trick. When you ring the bell, especially the first time, because it's a thing, you get excited, you know, you want to do it right, so you're focused on the bell. And when they look up, what the audience will see the very first time you ring the bell is this. You looking down here. So I say take aim on the bell, and you make sure that you're smiling when you ring the bell. So it would be, and then they look up and they see you smiling. Super confident. You see the difference? Also, there's a sweet spot on the bell. It's the very lip of the bell. That's where the bell really sings, right? We like our leaders to be confident. That's a signal that you're super confident when you ring that bell. So give it a whack. Don't be shy. I've known presidents that are so nervous on the first day, they take a swing at the bell and they miss. You don't get to do that one over. And then what about between? Probably the most important, and it's my favorite part because it's about relationship building. And some of you that I've known for a long time, you know how important relationships are to me. And here's the best technique I know for building relationships, is you would get in the habit of saying things to people that no one ever says to them. Unique compliments. What the psychologists call deep compliments, right? Very important. And you mean it. And because nobody's ever said anything like that to them before, they say, oh, this guy's really paying attention to me. This woman really gets me. And it's true. It would be the start of a beautiful thing. So you say things that nobody ever says in ways that nobody would say them. And they start to gravitate towards you. That's how you become charismatic as a leader. If you don't have it naturally, you're going to have to manufacture it. And this is a trick for doing that. Now, I want to tell you about how to do another make a big splash in the pool. I want you to write this down. This is super important. I want you to think about and then try to do a 100-person event. So that 100 people, now if you're in a big city, maybe 100's not a lot. But if you're in a small town like a lot of Rotary clubs are, if you can get 100 people to come to a Rotary thing, it's the biggest thing that happens in town that day. That's nice, right? So there are techniques and strategies for doing this. And I have, again, videos on YouTube where I'm talking to Rotary Club leaders about how to do a 100-person event. In fact, I will come to your 100-person event at no cost for you, and I will deliver to your doorstep what we call M&Ms, members and money. Because this 100-person event is only 20% Rotarians, 80% community leaders. And the way it's priced out is that you will net $10,000 at this fundraiser. If you friend me on Facebook in the next day or so, you'll see there's an event I'm doing for the Kamloops, a Rotary Club in Kamloops in British Columbia. And they're sold out. They're going to net $10,000. They created the ad. And I give you all the stuff you need to do it. I only do a couple of these a year because I'm still working. But it's my pleasure to do this for Rotary. So far, this program has raised over $250,000 in North America. Yeah. I want to try to get to 1 million. I have a goal with a number. I want to try to get to 1 million. So if you want to be part of it, just let me know. We'll do a Zoom call, see if your people are excited. If it's a fit, we can talk about it. If it's not a fit, let's not do it. Okay. I'm going to do something fun. I want all of the people under 45 to please stand up. Give them a round of applause. Under 45. Would you all please come down in front of the stage? We want to get eyes on you. Come down. I know some people in the room saying, I didn't know there were this many. Right in front of the stage, just like this. Come on. I love this. Look at this. Look at all the talent. You didn't know they were here, did you? Holy crap. Under 45. Are you, huh? Are you kidding me? You can move, slide down, man, slide down. We got people on the edges. Come on. Look at this. Unbelievable. 45 and under. Good looking people. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like to have tight skin. I like to do this, and by the way, just a little background here on what it's like to be a speaker in Rotary. I've done this for all different age groups. I've done it for different genders. I did this for women when we were celebrating 30 years of women in Rotary, and I got hate mail because somebody said I was only choosing attractive women. What? I thought I was just choosing women. Then I did it with the oldest Rotarians in the room. Took longer. When I only did it with the older people, the younger people complained. Why do you always give attention to the older people? We want attention too, right? Here's the thing about younger people, man. They love attention. And we have cleverly figured out how not to give it to them. To the people in the front of the room, raise your hand if you're going to be on stage this weekend. Raise your hand if you are facilitating in a breakout this weekend. We got to give these people some spotlight or they're not going to be with us very long. They love attention. Give it to them. I know what some of you are thinking. He's making this up. They don't love attention. Do you like attention?
I mean, as long as it's the right kind, I guess.
Duly noted. Do you like attention?
Yeah.
That's good. Like attention?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you like attention?
Love it.
You like attention?
Yes.
Do you like attention?
Love it.
Sit down if you are over 40. Sit down if you're over 40. And move to the center. Fascinating. Take a look. Thank you. What I love about this, these are like hidden figures, ladies and gentlemen. They're in the room, hiding in plain sight. Sit down if you're under 35. Did I do it right? over 30. If you're over 35, please sit down. Thank you. If you're over 35. Two dozen. Still under 35. If you're over 30, please sit down. Move toward the center. Shit's getting real now, isn't it? What's your name and what's your club?
Rebecca, and I'm from Chilton County.
Are you going to be president?
Yes.
And do you work?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Man, you're my hero. Well done. Look at that. The confidence, right? She can do it. What's your name and what's your club?
Ethan, I'm with Hartsel.
What do you do for work, Ethan?
I'm a mortgage lender.
Mortgage lender. So you're good with numbers?
Good enough.
We heard that a lot during the housing bubble. Good enough. I'm sure you're great. Jackson, we shared a table together. You're a physical therapist, yeah? What's your club?
Humboldt,
Humboldt?
Tennessee. Humboldt.
What do you do for fun?
I like to fly fish. So, I've got 2 kids, 3 and 2 years old. So I don't have much time for anything. I don't have time to fly fish anyways right now. So I don't know what I do for fun.
If you're going to be president of your club, you don't have time for your kids anymore. Kidding. Okay. Your name and your club?
Julie with Cokeville Sunset Rotary.
How many people are in your club?
About 30. We're kind of smaller.
Okay. Do you have a legacy goal yet for your year?
I'm vice president elect, so this is going to be my president, Hugh Billings, and we're excited. We don't know.
Okay.
We're
Well, think about it.
brainstorming.
Yeah, think about it. It's not too late to get something together. Your name and your club, please.
Jennifer from Harlan, Kentucky.
Good. What do you do for work?
I'm a director of registration for a federally qualified health center. We're the largest thing in the state of Kentucky.
Very good. And you like your job?
I love my job.
Are you good at it?
I'm very good at it.
I bet you are. Matthew, what club are you in?
I'm in the club with Center, Alabama.
And what do you do for work?
I'm also a lender.
Are you also just pretty good with numbers or good enough?
Good enough.
Can you imagine the slogan at the company would be, "We're good enough." Brandon, where are you from?
La Follette, Tennessee, South Campbell County Rotary Club.
What do you do for fun?
Right now, this sounds cheesy. I promise I don't mean it. We're building an inclusive playground for kids in our community. So that takes up 100% of my time.
Not cheesy at all. Bravo. What age did we leave off at? 30? So if you're under, let's see, if you're over 25, if you're over 28, you may be seated. Yeah, probably. Two together. Oh, you could stay, because I like the patterns. Look at this. Sharp dressed, good enough lenders. How old are you?
27.
How old are you?
28.
You can sit down.
So I am the youngest here.
You are the youngest. Well, there's children and younger people here, but you're the youngest club president. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's an honor.
All this to say, we're watching you. Why don't you pick 3 cards out of here? We're going to give away some books. These I brought some to sell too, but I want to tell you something. They're 30% off the online price. And some of you are saying, Michael, if you're such a good Rotarian, why don't you just give your books away? Because that wouldn't be beneficial to all concerned. Who's the first winner?
The very first one is another lender. He may be good enough. It's Mr. Blake Maples.
Blake, come on down. Another one. Let's do Teresa, right? Is it Mustis?
With Wholesome Technologies.
She knows who she is. Yeah. And finally,
And finally, we have John Lewis.
John Lewis, come on down. Thank you very much. Matthew, you may be seated. For you, sir, what club are you in?
Thank you. Sevierville Rotary Club.
Congratulations. I'll sign for you afterward. Teresa, how are you? What club are you in?
Lebanon.
Very good. Congratulations. Happy to sign. Hey, John.
Shades Valley, Birmingham.
Very good. Congratulations. You can be president? Love it. Thank you very much. All right. So in closing, and then we have a special surprise for you. In closing, I just want to say that it's important to take a look around and try to figure out what's possible in your club. Ask your people, what's possible? Forget about why you can't do it. Focus on what's possible, because if you don't know what's possible, you don't know what to change. My name is Michael Angelo Caruso. Thank you for being in the greatest service organization in the history of the world, Rotary. Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you. My pleasure. John Germ, come on up and join us. We have a special thing we want to do. And it's interesting that we've been talking about this particular topic because I think giving is a lifelong endeavor. I think you can spot what people are like when they're young, and you kind of just bring them into Rotary, right? John's going to talk a little bit about this right now. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you, and I always look forward to seeing you at this event. You're a hero for all of us.
Thank you. Let's give Michael another round of applause. I did discover him 14 years ago.
You got a special thing you want to do, right? What's going on?
Well, somebody tells me that one of the things we always need in Rotary is membership. So I think that we're going to recognize somebody today as a new member of a Rotary Club. Do you think that'd be okay?
I'd love it. Who do you have in mind?
Well, there's a lady here that I met when she was 5 months old.
That's too young to join.
Well, she's been to 4 conventions.
No kidding.
Not as many as Mark's children did, but Mark's had his children to every convention since they were born. So she has become very active in her community. She is entering college. Unfortunately, it's Ole Miss. But she's a dedicated person and is really involved in youth activities. And I think it's the type of people that we need to start growing Rotary and to show that we are diversified and that we are interested in young people and that we have something to offer them, and it's not just an old person's group like you and me.
What is this person's name?
Her name? Oh, is that important?
It is to her.
Oh, well, I tell you what, let's bring her up, but let's bring the people that sponsored her up too.
Let's do it.
Abigail
Barnett.
Barnett and Chuck and Amy. Come on, Abigail.
What about me?
No, you're already a member.
I do like attention.
You're already a member. We can't put you in here.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Abigail, you have made several serious decisions in your life already. This one is one of the most serious because you're about to join an organization that believes in service to humanity, an organization that gives you an opportunity for leadership, an organization that we know that you can add a lot to. If you're ready to join Rotary through the Rotary Club of Gallatin, Tennessee, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Abigail Barnett, do hereby promise
do hereby promise
that I will faithfully uphold and execute
that I will faithfully uphold and execute
the Constitution and bylaws of Rotary International,
the Constitution and bylaws of Rotary International,
of the Gallatin Rotary Club,
of the Gallatin Rotary Club,
and I will further serve as an example
of
the philosophies and beliefs
philosophies and beliefs
embodied in the 4-way test.
and embody the 4-way test.
Ladies and gentlemen, your newest Rotarian.
Wonderful.
All you have to do is look and find the talent. Find talent that can add to our great organizations. You will do that.
Bravo. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Barnett. Thank you, John Germ. We're going to turn the program back. Imagine if Ms. Bradford stays in Rotary for a lifetime, what kind of giving and help she could give our organization. Just to extend the length of a person's stay in Rotary would be so great. Hey.
May I share the mic with you?
Yeah.
One more time, because you might not have heard the first 3 or 4. A round of applause for Michael Angelo Caruso. Thank you, Michael.